Several protest leaders in Thailand have been released on bail as demonstrators continue to rally in Bangkok. The rallies are demanding reforms to the monarchy and the resignation of the Prime Minister. Parliament is to reconvene for an extraordinary session to find a way out of the political crisis. In a moment, Saksit Sayasombat will join us live from Bangkok. But first, a look at today's developments.
Thai police have ordered investigations into 4 news outlets over their coverage of ongoing protests. The organisations in question, Pracha Thai, The Reporters, The Standard and Voice TV. They're also investigating protest group Free Youth's Facebook page.
The objective behind this order is because we receive information from intelligence units concerned that parts of the content and distorted information have been used and disseminated to cause confusion and instigation, causing an unrest in the society.
Content thought to affect national security has been banned under emergency measures imposed last week. So far, Thailand's digital ministry has requested court orders to take down content. Authorities insist, though, that their actions are not an attack on press freedom and there are no plans for an expansion of the curbs.
ก็เห็นได้ว่ารัฐบาลก็พยายามประนีประนอมมากที่สุดอยู่แล้วนะก็ขอไม่กี่อย่างเองอย่ากระทำความผิดทำลายทรัพย์สินราชการทำลายทรัพย์สินประชาชนนะแล้วก็สิ่งที่ไม่ได้ถูกคือระมัดระวังการกระทบกระทั่งกันในกลุ่มผู้ชุมนุมเห็นได้ว่าเมื่อวานก็มีเหตุขึ้นมาแล้วนะจะทะเลาะกันเองตีกันเองอีกอะไรเหล่านี้นะก็ขอให้ระมัดระวังให้มากที่สุดแต่ประเด็นที่รัฐบาลจำเป็นต้องทำก็คือในเรื่องการปกป้องสถาบันพระมหากษัตริย์อันนี้เป็นหน้าที่
It's the 6th consecutive day that protesters are rallying for constitutional reform and for the government to step down.
Saksit Sayasombat joins us live now for more on this story. Saksit, good evening. How have rallies developed, especially given the release of protest leaders?
It is now the 6th day of anti-government protests in succession that we are seeing now, the 5th day after the emergency decree has banned public gatherings. And again, people are out in droves at 3 different protest sites in the north of Bangkok, a little bit on the outskirts of Bangkok as well. In one part also the traffic has been blocked, but this seems to be very much the pattern that we have seen in the past few days. The more surprising is that we're seeing that the appeals court has granted bail to 3 prominent protest leaders on the condition, of course, that they are not violating their bail conditions, but that it seems to be some, at least, a concession by the Thai state to the protesters. But that really doesn't play much of a role here, because the protests that we are seeing right now since the weekend are more or less leaderless. And they are the mantra that everybody is saying, that everybody is a protest leader, everybody who can go on stage can say something. So how much this has an effect on the protest movement itself remains to be seen, but at least we are seeing here that there seems to be some attempt at a compromise.
Saksit, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha says he will not quit, and he said that Thai people have a duty to protect the monarchy. Now that is at odds with the protesters' demands. How will they find, or possibly find, a way out of this?
Well, if you try to read between the lines what Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has said, for when you compare that to last week and when you compare that to today, there seems to be a softening of his stance, well, at least that's what the Thai media is saying there as well, and other media outlets as well, that he is trying to say, well, we let them protest, we do not engage them violently. Well, the crackdown on Friday with water cannons might disagree with that, but he also tells the protesters not to do anything illegal. Now, the problem, of course, is that the emergency decree does ban gatherings of more than 5, so technically they are violating and doing illegal stuff. Now, there is still some development on the political front, though. House Speaker Chon Lik-pai had talks with the whips of the coalition and the opposition, and they all agreed to a special parliamentary session. Right now, parliamentary is recessed, but it was going to reconvene in the beginning of November, but it seems to be they need to hurry up now, because they might be talking this week about how to get out of this whole political crisis. And one of these measures could be to talk about constitutional amendments, which is one of the demands by the protest leaders. They had the chance before Parliament went into recess in September, but a last-minute bait and switch by the coalition delayed the whole thing into next month. Now it seems to be they're rushing to get back into Parliament to talk about reforms, and it could be one effect here that the protest seems to be working in some shape or form.
Success, what about the 4 news organizations that are now under investigation for their coverage of the protest? What happens to them?
Well, right now, immediately nothing much, as these 4 media outlets, Voice TV, Prasatai, The Reporter and The Standard, they are still reporting from the ground, many of them live streaming on social media right now. But still, the order that came out today was had somewhat of a shocking effect on the media, including us here in the foreign media as well. But police had later clarified that this was not supposed to be a gag order. There was supposed to be the launch of an inquiry into something that might be illegal. And they have also said that, media can still carry out their work and report about that, but they have to be careful not to spread so-called fake news. And of course, in this case, whatever fake news is in the eye of the beholder, aka the state. But nevertheless, it has caused quite some outrage here among the media colleagues. Several media associations here in Thailand have expressed their outrage against it, saying that curtailing media in their work here is going to be detrimental to the whole political situation as well. Now, there's also not only on the traditional media, but also on social media, another front that is opening up. Now, several protest groups have switched from other social media outlets to the chat app Telegram, and now a leaked document by the Digital Ministry for Digital Economy and Society seems to be seeking a ban on that app, asking telecom operators to curtail the communication on that as well. And they have also the Digital Ministry has also revealed that over 300,000 social media posts might be in violation to that. Now, this is also all not going to add more to the conciliatory tone. This is only going to enrage people that are using social media to get their voices heard, and they're also using social media to organize these protests as well. Now, and apart from that, 300,000 posts, well, good luck coming through all of that.
Well, thanks for getting us up to speed. Another busy day in Thailand. Saksisa Sombat speaking to us from Bangkok.